What's up, squares? It's time for another trip to the Boundary Waters. The water's supposed to be really high, and there's only 3 of us going this time. We learned a lot from our last trip, but first we gotta get there. Our canoe at Sawbill Outfitters and headed to a free campsite located at the entry point we planned to leave from in the morning. After setting up and doing a little fishing, which included my first Boundary Waters fish without using a fry pan ever, it was time to call it a night. The plan for day 1 was to leave our entry point and cross over 4 portages. 2 we could float through, and 2 that felt like way more than 0.8 miles, and end up somewhere on Lake Polly. Portaging is definitely type 2 fun. Half a mile can feel closer to 2. You get the occasional unexpected beaver dam, and you can run into some unwanted company. But sometimes a group member will go beast mode and carry the boat by themselves the whole trip, and you get opportunities to pick up lunch along the way. After getting to camp, the work starts with finding and sawing up dead trees, hauling it back to camp, splitting, and batoning it so you can cook that lunch you found earlier.
Pretty goddamn good. No complaints.
For other food, we brought frozen steaks for the first night, and one pro tip is to pre-cook and vacuum seal stuff so all you need to do is heat it up. A little stove was also nice for breakfast on days we planned to keep moving. That way we didn't have to mess with a fire before leaving, although Mother Nature had other plans. Well, at least it's not windy. But that didn't last long, so we packed up and headed north through 4 more portages and eventually ended up on Malberg Lake. With 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, and waterfront kitchen and living space, this campsite was definitely my favorite. Catching the first 3 walleye of my life off the shore may have had something to do with it, but either way, it was pretty great. The fishing game changed this year with Jesse making a bracket to attach a depth finder to and making an anchor out of a basketball net that would hold rocks. We ended up catching most of our fish off the shore, but I guess you live, learn, and maybe leave the live bait at home. Other gadgets that were an improvement over last trip were an axe versus a hatchet and a gravity water filter instead of a pump filter. After being somewhat windbound on Mahlberg, we didn't do much for day trips in the 2 days we were there. We decided to head back so we could split the exit trip into 2 days. Probably a good call considering how tired we were when we stopped. The last night, the clouds finally cleared enough to get a bit of astrophotography. It was nice to get something, considering I didn't get the otters or the moose everyone saw but me on camera. It's hard to be too disappointed up there though. I suppose it gives us another reason to go back.